Hello friends, welcome to another LEGO Masters interview. This time we were very excited to have Jessica join us from Team The Eccentrics. Let's dive on in and check out this awesome interview. So guys, say hello to our wonderful guest, Jessica. Jessica is, of course, a competitor on LEGO Masters, which is currently airing right now on Fox. That's every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. I've definitely been enjoying the show. It's been awesome seeing all the amazing builds you guys have been coming up with. And I'm really excited to get to know you a little bit better today. So guys, we're just going to get things started off. And Jay Bayer, welcome on in. Devil's Nest, great to see you all. Hope you're all doing wonderful. We're going to give Jessica a chance to introduce herself. Tell us a little bit about her history, herself, just any general information, Jessica, that you feel comfortable sharing with our community. Please go ahead and do so now.
Oh, okay, great. So my name is Jessica. In the art world, I'm known as Ragsy. I'm a full-time professional artist. I believe in the American dream, and I was selected for LEGO Masters to be a contestant, and it was amazing.
That is awesome to hear. How long have you been doing all of your artwork and stuff then, if that's kind of been something you've chosen to put so much time and effort and passion into?
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing artwork professionally for about 8 years now. I had started out doing it part-time, and in my 7th year, I started getting very successful, and that's when I decided to kind of pull the trigger and go full-time artist.
Yeah.
And LEGO is a primary medium in some of my artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe it was LEGO that really propelled me as an artist.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so someone had seen the artwork somewhere, and I was asked to apply for the show, and I got selected.
That is super duper awesome. If I may ask, because I want to continue to get a little bit more about your history before we start to dive in about you in the show. What were you doing? Like, were you doing something professionally outside of the artwork? Because you said you only recently went full-time on that. So what were you doing otherwise, if you can share?
Sure. What I can share is, I worked in the corporate world. I was the executive director of a nonprofit organization, and it was a really great experience. I did a lot of work with helping military veterans actually transition. Yeah. And as much as I love that community and I love giving back, art has always been a passion of mine. And when I started to see success with my artwork, I decided to go full-time into the art world. I did not know what was going to happen. I didn't know about the show.
Gotcha.
I did not know anything. This was in January of last year, actually, ironically.
Yeah.
And for the first couple months, I really struggled there. It was typical starving artist. Like, it is very, very hard. It's a very difficult industry, but I'm really competitive and I like a challenge.
Yeah, good.
I stuck with it. I don't give up too easily, and around halfway through last year, amazing things started happening to me. I got a lot of traction on my artwork.
Wonderful.
And I got, the offer from LEGO Masters.
That is so fantastic. Yeah. Amazing stuff. It's so cool to hear a little bit about a history, get a bit of an idea of kind of where you came from and how you got to where you are now. So that's just really, really great. Really, really great. And tell us a little bit about Sam. I know, and I think pretty much everybody's kind of figured this out. They've talked a lot about it on the show. You guys pretty much met through the show, maybe a little bit beforehand, but it was the first time you were working together. So what can you tell us about Sam and maybe a little bit about his building history and such?
Sure. I don't want to speak for Sam entirely, but we did meet, through the LEGO community. It was our first time building with each other. So I think where we agree is we both feel like we did have a big disadvantage going into the competition, because you see, there's a husband and wife, there's best friends.
People who naturally have a lot of chemistry, whereas two people who just started building together aren't going to have that same advantage, right?
Right, exactly. So I look at that as a disadvantage, but for me personally, I won't speak for him, I also see it as an advantage, because it's a disadvantage, but it's not, because as an artist and being creative, I like the idea of having something that's very new and fresh, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I actually was nervous but excited in a way, because ooh, let's see, it'll be a surprise, where I feel like if you work with someone, you kind of know what you're gonna do.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, like in a weird way, I kind of liked the idea of it.
The surprise of it. Yeah, that's fantastic. Really good to hear. So let's learn a little bit about more you and your Lego history. So when did you first start building? Was Lego something you had always had around as a kid, or did you end up actually getting into it a little bit later in life? Where did you first find Lego in life?
Sure. So I did not play with Lego as a child, actually. I was told by one of my teachers at a young age that I couldn't play with Lego because it was toys, and it was in the boys section of the toys. And as a young girl, I know.
That makes me mad.
Right? Terrible. Your soul just
if I ever find that teacher, they're going to step on a Lego.
Yeah. You know, and as a young girl, I was always fascinated for whatever reason with things that were maybe associated with boys. Like it wasn't just Lego. I loved playing with like the Hot Wheels cars and things like that. It was just very fascinating to me. Mm-hmm. But so my story goes all the way back, and I was told I couldn't play with Lego, and I had put it out of my mind, and I hadn't thought about that moment for 20 years.
Gotcha.
And then when I was doing some soul searching as an artist, because I didn't start out as a Lego artist, I really wanted to, you know, develop my artwork and really, you know, discover who I am. And I just to be honest with you, one night I just had a dream out of nowhere.
Wow, okay, yeah.
It was it was so weird how it happened. I just had a dream out of nowhere. In my dream, I was showing a piece to somebody I know who's connected with Salvador Dali, who's a very famous artist. Mm-hmm. And in my dream, I was showing him this piece I did, and I said, "Look, it's Lego Lincoln." And I thought it was so great. I literally woke myself up out of sleep. I was like, wake up. And I wrote it down.
Made sure you take note of that so you could go out and do it.
Yeah, and then the next day I went and I made it, and that is the piece that got me a lot of traction in the art world. So it's really insane how it happened.
That is so cool. What an awesome story. Yeah. And I know you got to, I don't know if it's still on display there or if you had it on display for a little bit. It's at one of the Lego stores, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, it's in Rockefeller Center.
That is so wonderful to have such an awesome piece on display there. Super duper fantastic. So very cool to hear about how that kind of came about for you. I don't think as many people can say the reason they started Lego building is because they had a dream about it. So.
Yeah, it was so, and the thing that blows my mind into this day, that is, I wanted to be an artist. Like, that was my dream. And if you asked me this 10 years ago, I would never said, oh, Lego, like, that's what's going to take me there. Like, what artist would say that? So it's just so weird how it happened. And that was the piece that started getting traction in galleries and things like that. And then the show ended up finding me in the year I quit my job. Boom. It's just really surreal to me. Yeah. Truly.
So exciting. So exciting for you.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite Lego things? Now that you're a little bit more into it, do you have like a favorite Lego theme, any favorite Lego sets, maybe even pieces, something that you use in your artwork a lot?
Yeah, I like free brick. I think that's why I was a good candidate for the show, because I'm not a set builder.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah. Have you ever built a set? If I may backtrack a little bit, have you ever?
Before the show, I did. Okay. Yeah, when they told me about the show, I'm like, oh boy, I better go buy some sets.
Okay, gotcha. What kind of sets did you pick up then? What were some of those?
I got the haunted house.
Nice.
I loved it. I got the Ghostbusters car because I heard it's rare and they don't make it anymore, so obviously I had to have it.
Excellent choice.
And a few other ones, some space sets and stuff. And then I was like, well, is this going to help me? It's not going to help me because on the show there's no instructions. But I was like, let me just, so I get familiarized myself.
Get a feel with it. Yeah, 100%.
But I think you being able to use free brick is actually what makes you qualify for the show, because you have to take the free brick and make stuff. So 100%. I think I had a weird advantage in a way because I never used instructions before.
Gotcha, yeah.
So in a weird way, I think that helps me out.
Awesome. Very, very good. I love it. And then diving into of the stuff that you have done, of all your own work, and of course, I have my question phrased as Lego creations, but you obviously do a little bit of a mix when it comes to that. So what's your favorite piece? And I would say maybe regardless of whether or not it includes Lego, but.
It is really that Lego Lincoln piece, because it is what kind of made my dream a reality. But I do love doing things in my artwork that are iconic And the Lego bricks in my art symbolize the building blocks of something. So a lot of the art I do is iconic. Lincoln is the building blocks of civil rights in America. Marilyn Monroe is the building blocks of Hollywood glam. This piece here, I don't know if you can see it because I can't see me, but I can see it.
It is showing about half of it. So yeah, we're getting a look at it.
This is a very famous screen print by Andy Warhol. So Warhol fans would know what this is. And I recreated it in Lego. And to me, Warhol is like the building blocks of contemporary art.
Love that. So, that's so wonderful. So cool. Fantastic stuff. I love hearing, and because like that's news to me that like you have this inspiration for all of your pieces, and like that there's always a little bit of a story behind them rather than just doing something that kind of looks cool, which frankly I think I do a lot of the time. So it's awesome to hear you have a bit more of a story to your stuff. What's that?
I said you got lots of cool stuff back
I got lots of cool stuff, but I'm just like, cool, Lego movie, let's build something. I feel like there's not as much meaning there. So awesome that you have a little bit of a meaning. So and then a common question that we get, and someone's actually asking it in chat right now, is do you have a favorite Lego piece, and why is that your favorite piece?
Okay, it's really random, but I love the little eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
And I hide them in my art all the time. The news came here every day because they're obsessed with coming to my studio space. Yes, those!
I have a few of them. Just a handful.
I love them. I love the little eyeballs. And they were looking at a Warhol piece I did, and I had hit a bunch of eyeballs. One of the flowers is actually eyeballs, and they're like, wait, is that eyeball? Yeah.
That is so fun. I love that. And thank you guys. Lots of people saying how much they love the Lincoln portrait in chat. So some good stuff there.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
People are very nice. I'm making sure to constantly push the links and stuff like that. I've got all of them there. So guys, make sure you go follow Jess on Twitter, Instagram. She just started her YouTube channel, I think yesterday or something like that. So make sure you guys get in there and show some love.
Rookie, but it's there. I have
Gotta start somewhere. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So let's start to dive in and learn a little bit more about your experience on the show. So just like with your first thoughts, what was it like being on the show?
I loved it. I really, truly mean that. I think the most rewarding part of the experience is the people that were on the cast. I met some truly incredible people that I am like still very good friends with. I was just with Crystal and Amy.
Nice. I saw some of the pictures from your fun get together. That's awesome.
Yeah, just truly a wonderful community of creative people. And I found the relationships I made to be the most rewarding part of the experience.
Awesome.
I also feel like I really grew, as not just a builder, but as an artist and as a person, because this was actually the most challenging thing I have ever done in my entire life in so many different ways. I mean, it was very hard. And, you're among the best too. So it's not just like, oh, I'm good. Like everyone's good, everyone's talented and different. And it was very challenging, but that's what I really love. I'm very competitive. I've lived for a challenge and pressure and time-sensitive deadlines. I was like living for
all of it.
So it's hard, but I loved it.
Amazing to hear. That is so cool. So cool. How did you enjoy like having access to so much Lego? Was it like your dream to be able to run around and just grab all the bricks you wanted? Did you find it exciting? Was it maybe overwhelming having so much? How did you find that?
If I had to pick one word, it was magical.
Okay.
Like when I walked in, I was literally like, a bunch of people were talking about when we walked in, I like did this spin. I didn't plan that. I didn't know I was doing it. I was just like, whoa, like look at all this stuff. Like it was really just magical. And it's like an artist, like, like if for an artist to have an unlimited amount of like art supplies and be able to make whatever you want.
No doubt.
It's just like, overwhelming, magical, incredible. It was really great.
That's
truly.
so fun. So glad to hear it. I know all too well. I'm very lucky to have a pretty amazing collection myself, so I get to live a little bit of that every day. But I don't think anything would compare to walking on the set of Lego Masters. Let's be real. So hopefully someday we can make that happen. How did you enjoy getting to work with the judges? Jamie and Amy, and then what was it like? I mean, you were literally dealing with Lego Batman every day. Will Arnett, like, what was that whole experience like, getting to interact with all those awesome people?
I love the judges. You know how there's some shows where people are like, oh, this judge or that judge. I thought the judges were honestly so helpful.
Awesome.
I feel like their feedback was accurate. You know, everyone's entitled to their opinion, so the audience might be like, that's wrong, or this is wrong, or that's wrong. But I do really feel that the judges gave feedback that helped our team personally make it better. And I do feel that. And I liked the dynamic of the Brickmasters, because, you know, Jamie seems like very technical and Amy seems more of design, even though they both have it.
Yeah.
They definitely, with the feedback, you know, from my personal opinion, I feel like Jamie was kind of looking at it from the technical side, and Amy was kind of the design side, just in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And so you're getting both spheres of expertise, and I feel like it was very helpful, and I really liked both of them.
That's awesome.
And despite, I really liked our intergalactic space cat. I know like nobody liked it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought it was great. And I'm pretty sure chat's gonna back me up on that. For anyone who did see the show, it definitely turned out quite awesome.
I love and if you notice, when it exploded, all the puppies came out.
Yo, I'm so glad. I'm so disappointed that they didn't show that. I actually caught that when I was looking through your socials getting ready for this. I saw you had posted that, and I saw them in there, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did they not talk about the fact that you hid a bunch of cats and dogs inside your build? Like, so fantastic.
It was a surprise. Like, when they smashed it, that's what we were going for. Like, surprise, it's filled with puppies. Like, thought they would think it was funny, but
right?
They didn't.
Disappointing. I guess that's the nature of television, right? Says some things just don't make it into the episode.
Yeah, we're like, ooh, we'll get it. We won't be in the bottom. We're gonna surprise, because it's funny, because it's like the cat ate all the puppies. That was like the idea of it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that.
I liked the intergalactic space cats, but
yeah.
We made some incredible stuff on the show. So I think where Sam and I were on the same wavelength is we never started making something unless we both agreed. We both kind of had to be 100% in on the idea.
On the concept,
But what I really liked about him, despite our differences, is I like very wacky things, because I'm artsy, and Sam is, was a toy designer and a set builder, and he's an artist as well. And we would really collaborate well on the idea, because we were spitting out ideas, and like space cats came out, and I'm like, yeah, and we'll do like puppies and stuff, and make it weirder and wackier. So that is one of the things I really valued, because I felt if I had maybe like a different partner, maybe they would want to do something more traditional.
Yeah,
like
they wouldn't have been open to these ideas.
Yeah, or a spaceship or something, which were incredible. But for me, I like to do things that are really like whacked, like you wouldn't think of them. And so did he. So that was good.
That was really good to hear. I'm glad you were able to do that. And talk a little bit more about Will Arnett, because you talked about how much you liked Amy and Janie. What was it like dealing with Will Arnett?
I really like him. He's really funny. Really nice guy. I don't know, I'm sure you've been watching the show. I think I'm the only person at times that's really laughing, like hysterically at some of the things he said. Everyone's like, haha, and I'm like dying. And it's like, cause it's so, some of the jokes are so like, I don't know, just like wah wah wah. That I just think it's funny. I don't know. When he said he needed space from his exes, I was like dying for the space challenge. Like,
he had some really good ones. I totally agree. It's some really good ones. I think he's brought a lot of fun moments to the show, and it's awesome to see a little bit of that Lego Batman persona come out in moments.
Well, when he does the voice, I just laugh every time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You don't see it coming sometimes, and it's really funny.
Yeah, totally. So what are I think it's cool to get a little bit of insight, because most people I don't think have been on a TV show set. And Manny had actually brought up a really interesting one. The first thing that he had thought of when I asked him this question was that the set was freezing cold all the time. So what was the best and worst thing about being on a set or being on a show?
Well, I also think I had a disadvantage because I was in dresses the whole time.
Okay.
And I was really freezing. I mean, these guys got to build in pants and flannels. I'd like I'd like to redo the show and put everyone in
in dresses. Yeah.
Freezing. And then let's see how they do too. On top of everything else, I was really cold, but I think that production was really good. Like I feel like they did try and accommodate the fact that I was freezing. Like they got me this under thing that like a heated thing you wear under the dress. So they did try and accommodate.
That's awesome.
It was cold. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Very cold.
Yeah, and actually tying into this, someone in chat brought up a really cool question. Did you ever get time to stay at the studio and just have fun, like building outside of the competition, or were you pretty much only allowed to be on set when you were competing?
No, it had to be because obviously like it is a competition.
Okay.
You know, that leaves room for error.
Okay, gotcha.
I was only on set for literally building, and when they took pictures of whatever we made after, they let us see them, help with that.
Okay, cool.
And
That's
chill
good.
out. So they were nice, but we couldn't like just take the brick and just start making stuff whenever we wanted. No.
Gotcha. No free building fun.
No.
Only competing.
No free playtime.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool to hear. Some awesome stuff here about just being a part of that experience and everything like that. How did you find the time limits? I know you already talked about that you love competition and challenge. So did you find the times were overly restrictive? Did you think they were pretty fair? How did you feel about the time limits, and how did that affect your building process?
See, the thing is, I don't know if they were fair or not. It's like that was like whether it was fair or not was like the least of my worries.
Okay.
I was just like, okay, I was trying to think, what can we make that's gonna win with the time given?
Okay.
That was always on the
top of
top.
your mind.
Not to go too big, not to go too small. You know, it was a learning curve for me. And I feel like a lot of teams felt that way. Like, oh, what can we do in 15 hours? We don't want to plan out this thing and you run out of time.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, in 15 hours. And I like grids and charts. So I would literally be like, okay, I can do this in 3 hours, this in 3 hours, this 3 hours. That's 9.
Yeah.
And Sam can do this and this and this, because I would double the time. If it was 15, it's 30, because it's 15 for me and 15 for him.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. That's a good way to think about it.
That's kind of how I was
mentally strategizing. Yeah.
Unless we were doing something together, then we would deduct the time. So I actually had like a system and a strategy while we were building together, because we didn't know each other. I was trying to come up with, okay, I know Sam can make like this in 3 hours, and I can do a motor in 3 hours.
Gotcha.
So that's 6, and kind of calculate that way to come up with like an idea, if that makes sense.
Totally does. That's awesome.
Very quantified. I'm very.
And that's something we didn't get to necessarily see a lot of. Obviously, we're seeing that on your dress right now, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's cool. Again, cool getting insight, because again, with the limited time format, I feel like we don't get to see a lot, which is why I'm enjoying these interviews so much, because so much behind the scenes stuff that you just don't get to see about on the show. And hopefully people are enjoying kind of taking that in a little bit as well. Another question that had actually been asked by someone in the community previously, and admittedly it's been hit or miss so far. I don't think Manny actually was quite familiar with what I was talking about, and I'm not sure you will be either. Let us know if not. Do you know what illegal techniques are when it comes to Lego?
Yeah, I've heard of it before.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Okay, cool. Did you find, like, was that something that was okay with the show? Did you ever felt like you had kind of broken some Lego rules and like let that slide into the creations?
I think we were good. I don't think we did use any.
Okay.
I don't think we did. But if I saw an opportunity to do it and I thought it was gonna make it look better, I totally would have done it.
Totally would have. Okay, so it didn't end up happening, but you would have had the opportunity to present itself. Cool.
Yeah, we never did. I know we used some rubber bands at time for such, and maybe we weren't using them the legal Lego way.
Yeah.
Because they did have those little Lego rubber bands.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you what we made, but we used those in our piece on this episode.
Tonight's episode?
Maybe it was illegal, maybe it was.
Okay, exciting stuff to look forward to, guys. Can't wait,
Now we're in trouble.
Yeah. Hands down, yes, illegal building techniques are a common thing where basically fans are using parts in a way that would never show up in a Lego set. So
right.
I've been curious to see if, like, and I'm hoping that we get it out of some competitors. Maybe we'll get some admissions of usage that they maybe snuck in there, because I don't know if they had ever, said to you guys, like, oh, you can't use Lego in a way that wouldn't be in a Lego set or something like that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
what would they do? Get the Lego? Pew, pew.
The Lego police comes running in. Stop that right now.
Not on Lego Masters. Like, no, I
Cuff
don't
them in
think.
some Lego handcuffs and
Yeah,
the
I
little
think
plastic
we
one.
were pretty much free to do whatever we
Okay,
want.
cool. Very fun. I love it. I love it. Were there any parts of the builds, and I mean, we already talked about one earlier, but were there any parts of the builds that have been shown so far that you really, really loved but weren't really showcased? Because I feel like with both episodes, it's kind of become obvious that there are elements of the builds that we didn't see. Obviously, we didn't get to see that you had both cats and dogs hiding inside of the space cat. Was there anything from the first episode that you had maybe worked on that you really loved that didn't get showcased? What were some things that people maybe didn't get a good look at?
Sure. So yeah, and I think that was the common. We love the show. The Lego Masters love the show, but I think the common thing is we spent so much time on those theme parks, and they really didn't show a lot of other people's too, because that was like a common, like, everyone was like, they didn't show my this or that. So Sam and I's dream park was candy themed, so we had like a rock candy mountain. We had a fully functional banana split boat ride that Sam and I did work on together. I actually did the motor for that, and
Awesome.
Sam did the sculpting. It was a collaboration. He did the anchors for it, and I did some of the ice cream, and it was functional. But I think, for the sake of television, they can't show everything, and they need to show the audience why we were in the bottom. So they were focusing on that because we were in the bottom too, but we did have a really cool ride, and it is in a lot of the shots. It's like the first thing you see.
Sweet. I will definitely try and get some included in the video as well. That way people can see it. I know I've seen a picture of it. It did look awesome to me for sure. So hopefully I can get some of that included.
They didn't show it because Brickmaster Jamie came over to Sam and I when we finished it, and he literally looked at me. He goes, "I cannot believe you figured that out."
That's
and
awesome.
I was like, "Show that! Put that on TV!"
Put that on TV. But you're right, yeah.
Vicious. I wanted to win. I like to win. So I'm like, oh, okay, I see Aaron and Christian have this huge Ferris wheel, so we have to do another ride because we want to win it. And he said, that's awesome. So if we because no one else did bumper cars.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, if we can get those to move, we're definitely going to win it.
And I definitely thought you did an amazing job with getting it going. I could tell it was a little bit rushed, so it was heartbreaking seeing that little piece just pop off.
I know.
But it was I feel like if you had just a little bit more time, you would have been able to refine it, and it was an amazing concept. So kudos for even getting that together in the time that you did.
The thing is, it was working. I slapped myself. It was working, and with 2 minutes left, I shouldn't have done it. I wanted to design the anchors white, red, because it was red. I know.
You got ahead of yourself.
I put these bricks red, white, and then I pushed it spinning, and it wasn't working, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I figured out after they judged because it was getting stuck on the bricks I added in the last, and that's what made it hit it and the guy fall off.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, I was really sad. When I figured out, like, why did I do that? Like, I shouldn't have touched
Lessons learned the hard way sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Wah,
Crazy.
But we survived, so it's fine.
Indeed. And I'm excited to see what you guys are going to come up with tonight for sure. Cool. So kind of like heading in and wrapping up a little bit now. What was your biggest takeaway from being on the show, from the whole experience? What would you say was, one of the biggest highlights for you from this whole thing?
I think that, I went on the show. I ultimately decided to go on the show because I really wanted to showcase my talent as an artist and the Lego and what Lego has done, for me as an artist. That is the sole reason, I decided to do the show. And I do believe I got an opportunity to do that. In the beginning, I was upset because I thought that I might not get an opportunity to do that because it wasn't about TV for me. It wasn't about like, oh, hi, I'm on TV, Dream Park, and then bye, boom. Like, on top of being competitive, I really wanted to show what I could create artistically. Yeah. And in the beginning, I was upset because I thought that wasn't going to happen. But I ended up showing in tonight's episode. I love the piece we made tonight. I love the cat that we made and the dog park we made, but that wasn't one of me personally. I like the piece that we're making today much better, so I'm glad I get to showcase that in the episode tonight. But so that was the reason. That was the biggest takeaway, is I feel like I did get to show what I could do with Lego, not just as an artist, but as a builder.
Yeah.
Because prior to the show, I didn't consider myself a builder. I considered myself an
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah,
like
gotcha.
Artist. And now I see myself as an artist and a builder.
That's awesome.
And that was probably the most rewarding thing of the experience.
And do you think you're going to continue on with doing more building now? Maybe not just being solely focused on the artwork, starting to do a little bit more of the kind of Lego creation side of things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a lot of my artwork, I think some people don't know this, they're actually not mosaics. During the show, I say they're mosaics because it's easier for people to understand, but mine are structural, so they come off the canvas.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
There's actual structure to them.
I think that's pretty evident in the Lincoln piece, right? There's a fair bit of that in that one, right?
Yeah, so they're not entirely flat. They pop out using different pieces. And I have one thing I think
beautiful.
here.
She's ready.
It's a killer Venus flytrap, and he's eating the minifig guy.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Do you have pictures of that posted anywhere?
I didn't. I should. And it's funny.
Please do.
I will. On one side, it's the it's funny because it's a bouquet on one side. See the bow? It's a bouquet.
The bow. Tell us a little bit about the whole bow thing. We've seen them in every episode, and I've loved that you've been posting on socials that every episode you included a different word. Tell us a little bit about the bow, what that represents to you, and why you've chosen to make that part of your personality.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. Actually, yeah. So the bow for me is a reminder of that moment from when I was a little girl, telling, that teacher who told me I couldn't play with Lego because it was for boys. So it's that idea, the bow, of empowering women and girls from a young age to do, science, technology, engineering, math, whatever they want to do. And it's also, I consider it an art piece. Da Vinci hid messages in his art. So I have these little hidden inspiring messages in my hair, that are words that have helped me as the artist. Like, first was the dream, following the dream, then was hoping I would make it. That was episode 2. And tonight, I'll give you one spoiler. Tonight, my bow says love.
Aww.
So you can look for it. It's hidden.
Well, there you go, guys. An awesome little inside tip on what we can look. Spoilers. First look, first peek. Fantastic. That's awesome to hear. Just about a little bit you getting to bring your personality into things, right? And getting to have a fun little hidden way to show that off. So
yeah,
love it. Would you have maybe any advice for anyone who might be, aspiring to become a better Lego builder, maybe even looking towards being on the show? What kind of advice would you share with someone who might be looking to maybe get involved in Lego Masters in the future?
I think that, it's a great opportunity. You should definitely go for it. I think you should have a strong portfolio.
Okay.
Of builds, because the competition on there is really talented people. And try and do something that makes you stand out, because that was one of the reasons I believe I got picked, because I did things that were really they told me they were different, because you have to go through these rounds to get on the show.
Gotcha.
And when I made something, I really tried to think of something no one else would think of. So try and do something unique. If you're doing a spaceship, make it, I don't know, like a freaking flamingo spaceship or something.
Yeah, have some fun with it. Get a little out there.
Yeah, that would be my advice as an artist, because I think for me personally, that's why they were interested, because I liked to think a little differently. So try and have a style, try and be unique, and show us something different. That's what I would say. Because if you notice on the show, everyone's build Dream Park, no one thought of the same thing. They were all
every idea was very different, so that was really, really cool to see, for sure. Great advice. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you know what? We're almost ready to wrap it up, but I do want to see chat. Do you guys have any more questions that you'd like to throw at Jessica before we call it here? If you guys have any ideas, and actually, do you make any of the bows yourselves? Daisy was asking that. Do you make any of the bows yourself?
That's sweet. I actually buy the bows, and I either glue little Lego in the middle. Or I bought the words. They're actually hairpins. They're hairpins, and I put them on the bow. So I did kind of make them, but I bought
customize them a little bit.
Letter stickers and on there.
Very strange question, but Brick Monster would like to know, what does Will smell like?
Ew! What a weird. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I didn't smell him. You should ask him directly if you have a crush on him.
I'll try and hit him up sometime and see if I can get that one.
You.
I know I asked it. I went for it.
I don't even remember if I hugged Will or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Addie, if I may, I'll throw you back. We asked that question earlier, so look out for the video soon. You'll be able to get your question answered there. And here's a decent one. What's the biggest Lego set you've ever built? Of all the stuff you had picked up maybe throughout the last year or so, what was the biggest Lego set you ever assembled? Do you know?
I am broke right now. I'm starving artist. So I would say the biggest set I built was that Haunted Mansion. Okay. I think it was $100.
Nice.
Oh,
that's a good set.
God.
Yeah. Was that which Haunted Mansion was it?
It was I'm sorry, Haunted High School. It was
from
Haunted High School. And you had the VR with the iPhone.
Yes. What is the name of that? Hidden Side. That's it. That's an awesome set. I built that one. I had a lot of fun with it, and it's so many cool little hidden details and such, and I just thought it was so creative.
I'm starting to think the Lego community is rich. When I started buying these sets,
people get into it. They're like, I mean, who needs like food or cars or houses when you can just, have a lot of Lego, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't need food.
And actually, here's a really great question from our friend Hunt. On Lego Masters, do you ever get to know what you're building before the actual building starts? Or is it that basically no? So it's like, this is your challenge, start building.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing. If you're trying to be on Lego Masters, that's why I think putting together sets is great. It's wonderful. The experience is great, but you have to know how to come up with an idea and how to make it on the spot. Given no info, you have no idea what they're about to say, so you have to, be quick and kind of just know how
something
to put
to think about and prepare for, folks. So wonderful stuff. Well, guys, thank you so much for all the amazing questions. Jessica, thank you for joining us. Do you have any questions? I don't know. Do you have any questions for me or for the chat or anything like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I do. What's your favorite thing you've built back there? You got a lot of things.
Me? My favorite thing? That would be, it's a pretty easy one. I always use this one as my go-to. It's the original Lego Movie logo. That guy there, I built in 2014 when the first movie came out. I got to actually display it at some of the movie premieres here in Toronto. I got to be on a morning show with it, which was awesome. And then more recently, it actually got to be on display at the Lego House for a year. So that was really cool that I got to ship it off to Denmark. I didn't get to go, unfortunately, but it got shipped off to Denmark. And it got to be on display there for a year. Some friends actually in chat had gotten to see it, so really, really cool that that got to happen. So that's one of my all-time faves for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
Cool. Lego House. Wow, you're big time. You're big time Lego man.
Next goal is to get there, because there are certain people actually get to go and install their own builds in the Lego House and get to see it. So that's one of my goals, is to come up with something that they can't ignore and that gets me into the Lego House and I get to go see it. So, and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get to go at the same time sometime. Maybe you'll keep coming up with some more exciting stuff.
Okay, boy.
Head up to the Lego House, check it out. It'd be so awesome. So awesome.
Definitely.
Cool. And you know what? One final question. We're going to make this the last one. Fun little question. Did you ever get to sneak any pieces out from the studio?
I plead the fifth.
Dang it. I knew she was going to pull something like that. Can't tell us. So we don't want to get anyone in trouble, guys, okay? So
they were on it. The people managing the brick pick were on it. They have them in their pockets.
They were like the real Lego police there, yeah. Cool. Well, Jessica, just thank you so much again for joining us. I hope you had a fun time chatting with us. It was so awesome getting to hear about everything from you. Any final thoughts or anything else you'd want to say before you go?
No, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. And definitely watch tonight. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome, guys. So again, Lego Masters every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. I think it's a little bit later on Pacific time, so it could be more in time with nighttime TV. And then it is available on Hulu as well. And then hopefully it'll continue to become available in other places once the show finishes airing. I'm sure it'll start to show up in the UK and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for it, guys. It's a really, really fun show. And just, everyone's saying thank you, good luck, all that awesome stuff. So just really, really appreciate your time, Jess. And we'll just say goodbye.